Have you ever promised yourself that this time you'd be disciplined, consistent, and unstoppable? Yet, here you are again, stuck in the same cycle, with unfulfilled goals and unfinished dreams. You know exactly what I mean. You've set countless goals, told yourself, this time will be different, and yet, despite your best intentions, nothing ever changes. Why is that? Why do we keep falling short, even when we know what needs to be done? The answer is simple. It's not life or time holding you back, it's your own choices. Every single time you decide to hit snooze instead of waking up early. Every time you push off that workout. Every time you put off that difficult conversation. You're choosing comfort over growth. And that comfort, while fleeting, is precisely what's stopping you from becoming the person you want to be. Discipline isn't about motivation. It's not about waiting for that perfect moment when you feel fired up and ready to take on the world. Motivation is temporary. It's the spark that fades away once the excitement wears off. Discipline, on the other hand, is about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up consistently. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how many obstacles are thrown in your way. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't wait for motivation to strike. They relied on their own willpower, their inner strength, and their deep sense of purpose to get them through tough times. They knew that life would never be easy, that challenges would arise, but what mattered most was how they responded to those challenges. That's the key to true discipline. It's not about avoiding obstacles. It's about how you rise above them. In today's video, we're going to dive into 12 Stoic lessons that can help you become more consistent, more disciplined, and ultimately, more unstoppable. These lessons will teach you how to face adversity with a calm mind, how to stay focused on what really matters, and how to cultivate the strength to keep going when it feels like giving up is the only option. But here's the thing. You need to be ready for change. You need to be willing to take control of your life and stop waiting for things to magically fall into place. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But if you commit to the process, if you embrace these lessons with the same determination and grit that the Stoics did, you will find yourself becoming the person you always knew you could be. So, are you ready to take control? Are you ready to stop making excuses and start taking action? Because the journey begins now, and the first step starts with your decision to take responsibility. Let's get started. Imagine a young soldier named Callisthenes. Born in ancient Greece, he was not the fastest, nor the strongest among his peers. In fact, when he first started training, many doubted his potential. His trainers looked at him with skepticism, convinced that he wouldn't be able to keep up with the others. They would shake their heads, whispering about his lack of natural ability. But Callisthenes, rather than succumbing to the doubts of those around him, decided to prove them all wrong. Every day, while his fellow soldiers slept or took breaks, Callisthenes showed up. His body ached, his muscles screamed for rest. But he kept pushing. He didn't wait for motivation to strike. He created his own momentum by committing to the process. No matter how hard it was, while others were resting, he was working. While others found reasons to quit, he found reasons to keep going. There were days when it felt like nothing was changing, when his efforts seemed futile. But Callisthenes understood something that many did not. Discipline isn't built in the moments of excitement or motivation. It's forged through the small, everyday actions, and then, the day of battle came. The sounds of war echoed through the land. The clash of shields, the cry of soldiers. It was the moment Callisthenes had been preparing for. His fellow soldiers, who had rested and relied on their natural talent, faltered. They were unprepared, their bodies not accustomed to the grueling demands of the battlefield. But Callisthenes, he fought with precision and strength, his movements sharp, his stamina unwavering. He was ready. His consistency, his daily commitment, had prepared him for this moment. While others were scrambling, Callisthenes stood tall, focused, and powerful. Why was he so different? Because discipline doesn't wait for motivation. It's not about being born with talent, and it's certainly not about relying on bursts of inspiration. Discipline is the result of showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when the odds are stacked against you. It's about doing what needs to be done, day in and day out, regardless of how you feel in the moment. This story isn't just about an ancient soldier. It's a reflection of the power of consistency, something that we can all apply to our own lives, whether it's in fitness, in work, in relationships, or in personal growth. The principle is the same. Talent, luck, and motivation are fleeting, but the results of consistent effort are undeniable. The Stoics taught us that true progress isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and making progress one small step at a time. The secret to mastery, the secret to success, is not in waiting for motivation to hit you like a wave. It's about committing to the process and trusting that, over time, your effort will yield results. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter if you feel tired, unmotivated, or discouraged. Just like Callisthenes, you can achieve greatness not by waiting for the perfect conditions, but by doing the work when no one else is watching. How many times have you bargained with yourself? I'll work out tomorrow, just 5 more minutes of sleep, or I'll start later. These small negotiations seem harmless, don't they? Just a little delay, a temporary excuse. But if you pay close attention, you'll realize that every time you make such a deal with yourself, you weaken your resolve just a bit more. It's not a huge setback, but it adds up, and before long, it becomes a pattern that's difficult to break. The truth is, these tiny concessions chip away at your discipline. Think about it. Each time you give in, you train your mind to seek comfort. You teach yourself that it's okay to delay what needs to be done, that it's acceptable to procrastinate, but in doing so, you also make it easier for yourself to keep making excuses. This is how habits of weakness form. The more you negotiate, the more your mind expects you to fold. Eventually, your mind becomes the one in charge, and it's making all the decisions. You'll find yourself stuck in a cycle, always planning to start tomorrow, never actually taking action today. The Stoics understood this well. They didn't wait for motivation to strike. They didn't bargain with their minds. Instead, they did what needed to be done, regardless of how they felt. Motivation isn't reliable. It comes and goes, like a fleeting spark. But discipline is consistent. Discipline is about acting, even when you don't feel like it, even when your mind tells you to wait. The Stoics didn't negotiate. They took action because they knew that doing what's necessary, even when uncomfortable, is what builds real strength. So how do you break this cycle of self-negotiation? It's simple, but not always easy. First, create automatic habits. Habits remove the need for negotiation. When something becomes a habit, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to make excuses. It's just something you do because it's part of who you are. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up in the morning and bargain with yourself about whether you'll do it. You just do it because it's a habit. That's how your actions should be, automatic. Next, use countdowns. The moment you find yourself procrastinating, give yourself a hard deadline. Count down from 5 and start moving. You don't give yourself time to negotiate. Just get started. That momentum will carry you forward. And finally, have a power phrase. This is your mental anchor. A phrase that you repeat to yourself when you're feeling weak or unsure. It could be something as simple as, I am in control, or, I do what needs to be done. This phrase should be strong, simple, and motivating. It will become your internal mantra, reminding you that you have the power to take action. Discipline is built by doing what needs to be done. Without negotiation, your actions should be automatic, and your mind should no longer control you. This is where true strength comes from, not from waiting for the right mood, not from negotiating with your comfort, but from doing what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. The Stoics taught us that control is found in action, not in thought. The way you talk to yourself shapes your reality. Think about it for a moment. When you face a challenge, how do you speak to yourself? Do you say things like, I can't do this, or this is too hard, or perhaps, I'll never be able to figure it out? If you do, then you are reinforcing a victim mentality, one where you believe that you are powerless to overcome the obstacles before you. Every time you utter those words, you're cementing the idea that you're a victim of circumstances. But here's the truth. The way you speak to yourself can either empower you or hold you back. Imagine if, instead of saying, I can't, you said, I may not know how yet, but I'll figure it out. That simple shift in language transforms your mindset from helplessness to possibility. It tells your mind that you're capable of finding solutions, of learning and adapting, and of overcoming any challenge, no matter how difficult it may seem. The Stoics understood the power of internal dialogue. They knew that the words you say to yourself determine how you perceive the world and how you act within it. They knew that true strength comes not from avoiding challenges, but from facing them head-on with resolve. Take the story of Eddie Hilsum, a remarkable woman who lived through the Holocaust. She faced unimaginable suffering, witnessing the horrors of war, the loss of her family, and the constant threat of death. It would have been easy for her to succumb to despair, to let the overwhelming darkness swallow her spirit. But instead, she chose a different path. She chose to focus on what she could control, her mindset. In her diary, she wrote about the importance of shaping her inner world. Even when the outer world was chaotic and cruel, she refused to allow the brutality around her to define her. By shifting her internal dialogue, she was able to maintain her sense of purpose and dignity despite the circumstances. Eddie's story isn't just one of survival. It's a story of mental strength and resilience. She understood that in the face of insurmountable odds, her mindset was the one thing she could control, and by mastering her thoughts, she was able to rise above the horrors that threatened to destroy her. This is a lesson for all of us. How we speak to ourselves in moments of difficulty can either fuel our strength or drag us down into despair. The Stoics taught us to speak to ourselves as warriors, with strength and resolve, instead of identifying as a victim of circumstances. We must embrace the challenges before us and recognize them as opportunities to grow. The words we use shape our actions. If we continue to tell ourselves that we are helpless, we will remain stuck. But if we begin to speak with confidence, telling ourselves that we are capable of overcoming whatever comes our way, we start to transform our reality. So, speak to yourself with strength, change your language, and you'll change your life. Stop identifying as a victim, and start identifying as someone who rises to the occasion. Embrace challenges, not as burdens, but as chances to prove your strength. Speak to yourself like the warrior you are, and watch how your actions follow suit. Many people believe that discipline is something you're either born with or you're not. They think it's a trait some have, while others are just destined to struggle. But that's a lie. Discipline isn't a gift, it's a muscle, and like any muscle, it has to be trained. Think about it. When you were a child and learned how to walk, you didn't get it right the first time. You fell over and over again. But you didn't give up. You got back up, each time, until walking became second nature. That's how discipline works. It's not something you're born with. It's something you develop by showing up every day. No matter how difficult it gets. The Stoics knew this truth well. They didn't sit around waiting for motivation or inspiration to strike. They understood that the path to strength, both physical and mental, is paved with consistent action. Discipline isn't about feeling motivated or waiting for the perfect moment to start. It's about doing what's necessary, even when you don't feel like it. It's about training yourself to make the right choices every single day. Even when your mind tells you to do otherwise. They weren't relying on their emotions. They were relying on their commitment to daily action. And that's what built their discipline. Let's take a look at how this applies to our lives today. How many times have you woken up in the morning, knowing you need to exercise, but you let your emotions take over? I'm too tired, I'll do it tomorrow. It's too hard today. But just like when you were learning to walk, The more you give in to these excuses, the more you reinforce the habit of weakness. On the other hand, every time you push through that resistance, you build discipline. You're flexing that muscle, making it stronger, training it to do what's necessary no matter how you feel. The key takeaway here is simple. Discipline isn't something that magically happens. It's a habit, a skill, a muscle that must be worked. If you don't actively practice it, it weakens. Think about how strong your muscles are when you work out regularly. They grow stronger, more capable of handling whatever challenges you throw at them. It's the same with discipline. The more you commit to daily action, the stronger your discipline becomes. It becomes easier to do what's necessary, even when you don't feel like it. It's no longer a struggle, it becomes second nature. This is where most people fail. They think discipline is something that comes naturally to others and not to them. They see the successful, disciplined people around them and think, "I'll never be like that." But the truth is, those people didn't start out disciplined. They worked at it. They practiced daily. They fell. They got back up. And over time, their actions became automatic. And that's exactly what you can do. 2. The first step is simply to start. And then commit to showing up every day. No matter how you feel, like a muscle, it will grow stronger with every rep. And in time, you'll find that discipline isn't something you need to force. It's something that flows naturally. A powerful habit that will carry you forward. Many people give up on their goals because they don't see immediate results. They think, "I didn't exercise enough today," or "I didn't write enough," or "it's not perfect, so I'll stop." It's a mindset that many of us fall into, especially when things don't go as planned. The truth is, perfectionism is one of the biggest killers of progress. It's seductive. You tell yourself that unless everything is perfect, it's not worth doing. But that mindset often leads to procrastination. You wait for the right moment, for the perfect conditions, or for everything to line up just so. And in the meantime, nothing gets done. But here's the harsh truth. Perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. The pursuit of perfection often leaves us stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping, of constantly rethinking and overanalyzing, but never actually moving forward. The Stoics understood this. They didn't aim for perfection, they focused on progress. They knew that the key to success wasn't about getting everything right every time. It was about taking consistent action. Even if it was imperfect, it's about showing up, day after day, doing the work, and trusting that the results will come over time. Think about it this way. Progress isn't always visible immediately. The effects of small, consistent efforts often take time to compound. Look at a marathon runner. For example, they don't sprint the entire race. Instead, they pace themselves, maintaining a steady rhythm, focusing on consistency rather than speed. They know that running at full speed all the time would burn them out before they reached the finish line. Success in a marathon comes from maintaining that steady, consistent pace. It's the same in life. If you're constantly trying to be perfect, you'll burn out before you even get close to your goal. But if you focus on steady, consistent action. Even if it's imperfect, you'll keep moving forward, one step at a time. In my experience, this has been one of the hardest lessons to learn. The pressure to be perfect, to get everything right, can be overwhelming. But I've found that the moments I've been most productive, most successful, were the times when I gave myself permission to be imperfect. When I stopped expecting perfection, I stopped holding myself back. I made progress, no matter how small, and that momentum built on itself. The small steps, the things that seem insignificant, are actually the ones that make the biggest difference in the long run. So, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop holding out for the perfect conditions. They won't come. Instead, focus on consistent action. Even if it's small, even if it's messy, progress is real. Perfection is not. The Stoics were right. It's the daily effort, the unwavering commitment to showing up, that leads to success. The more you focus on consistency, the more you'll find that perfection doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep moving forward. There will be days when no one acknowledges your efforts. You'll train, work, and push forward without external recognition. No applause, no cheers, no validation. And in those moments, it's easy to feel discouraged, to question whether your effort is even worth it. We all want to be seen. We all want our hard work to be acknowledged, to be celebrated. But the truth is, the real measure of discipline isn't in the applause. It's in the consistent actions you take when no one is watching. Think about it this way. Imagine a woodcutter working late into the night, hacking away at a massive tree. The night is silent, the air still, no one sees him. No one hears the sound of the axe striking the wood. It's just him, alone, in the dark, doing the work that no one else can see. Each swing of the axe may seem insignificant on its own, but with every strike, he weakens the tree, slowly, steadily, bit by bit. He's chipping away at the problem. The final blow may seem like the one that knocks the tree down. But in reality, it's the countless swings before that moment that make it possible. Each small, unnoticed action is a necessary part of the process. This is where true discipline lies. It's not about the grand moments of recognition or the applause from others. It's about the quiet, persistent effort you put in when no one else is watching. It's about showing up when it feels like no one cares. It's about doing the work, even when you don't feel motivated or when you don't see the immediate results. Every small action you take, every step forward, is contributing to your growth, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. I've experienced this in my own journey. There were countless times when I put in hours of work, only to see no immediate payoff. No one saw my struggle. No one celebrated my small victories. And there were moments when I thought about giving up, but I learned something incredibly valuable during those times. The world doesn't need to see your progress for it to matter. What matters is that you keep going. What matters is that you stay committed to the process. No matter how slow or invisible your progress may seem, true discipline doesn't need validation. You don't need to be cheered on every step of the way. The world may not see your effort, but every step forward counts. Every day you choose to work, even when no one is watching, you're strengthening that muscle of discipline. You're making progress, one swing of the axe at a time. So, stay committed, even when there's no applause, even when it feels like no one is cheering you on. Trust in the process, and know that every small action you take is bringing you closer to your goal. It's the quiet effort, the constant commitment, that leads to true success. Your brain operates on old programs, patterns of thought and behavior that have been ingrained over the years. These mental shortcuts are designed to keep you safe, to protect you from discomfort, and to avoid challenges. They tell you to hit snooze when the alarm goes off, to delay tasks that seem difficult, and to look for the easiest path forward. But here's the harsh truth. These old programs are holding you back. They're keeping you stuck, keeping you from the growth and success you're capable of achieving. To move forward, to break free from the cycle of procrastination and avoidance, you need to reprogram your brain. Reprogramming your brain isn't as complicated as it sounds. It's about making a conscious decision to embrace discomfort, to reframe the way you view challenges. Instead of seeing hard work as something to avoid, start viewing it as an opportunity for growth. Difficult tasks are not obstacles. They are the very things that will help you grow stronger, more resilient, and more capable. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you challenge your brain's natural tendency to seek comfort, you are reprogramming it to associate effort with reward, not pain with avoidance. But how do you start? It's simple. Start small. If you're struggling with focus, don't try to tackle a huge task all at once. Break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and focus on just one small task. You'll be surprised at how quickly you can build momentum by starting with small actions. Each small victory, no matter how seemingly insignificant, sends a powerful signal to your brain that effort is worth it. With every small success, you reprogram your brain, training it to crave discipline instead of comfort. I've personally struggled with this, especially in the past. There were countless moments when I wanted to take the easy way out, when my mind screamed for me to delay a difficult task. But over time, I realized that the only way to make progress was to push through that discomfort. The more I embraced the challenge, the more I started to associate hard work with accomplishment, not suffering. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Slowly, I started to reprogram my brain. I stopped avoiding the hard stuff and started attacking it head-on. And with every small victory, I grew stronger, more disciplined, and more confident in my ability to tackle even bigger challenges. This is the power of reprogramming your brain. When you face a challenge, instead of running from it, see it as an opportunity to grow. Every time you embrace discomfort, you strengthen your discipline. You train your brain to associate effort with reward. And with that, you build the mental toughness necessary to keep moving forward, no matter how tough things get. So, the next time you're faced with something difficult, don't back down, embrace it, reframe it as an opportunity for growth, and watch how your discipline and your success grow along with it. Imagine you're given 2 pills, one blue, one red. The blue pill offers comfort, a life of ease, where you avoid hardship, where you take the path of least resistance. It promises you a life free from struggle. On the other hand, the red pill forces you to embrace discomfort. It challenges you, demands more from you, and pushes you into situations that make you uncomfortable. Most people would instinctively reach for the blue pill, choosing comfort over challenge, seeking the easiest way out. But what if I told you that the blue pill is a trap? One that holds you back from the very growth you seek. Here's the reality. True growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from discomfort. It comes from facing challenges that test you, from doing things that scare you, from stepping outside your comfort zone. Think about it. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you force yourself to do something hard, you become stronger. It's in these moments of difficulty that your true potential is unlocked. It's not in the easy moments, the moments where everything goes according to plan. No, growth happens when you're stretched, when you're forced to face your fears, when you choose to keep going even when every part of you wants to stop. I've had my own moments of choosing discomfort, and let me tell you, it's not easy. Waking up early when all you want to do is sleep, going for that run when your body is telling you to rest, tackling a difficult project that you know will take all your energy. These are the moments where true power is forged. And I can say from personal experience that it's in those moments when you feel the most resistance that you experience the most growth. The Stoics knew this. They believed that embracing discomfort wasn't just a way to build physical strength, but mental fortitude as well. The more you endure, the more resilient you become. The more you face those uncomfortable moments head on, the more you train your mind to handle adversity with grace and strength. In my own life, I've learned that the more I push myself to do difficult things, the more capable I become. When I'm tempted to take the easy road, I remind myself that growth doesn't live there. Growth lives in the struggle, in the moments when you feel like quitting but decide to push through anyway. The more you choose discomfort, the more you build the muscle of resilience, the more you learn to embrace challenges rather than avoid them. So, next time you're faced with a choice, ask yourself, do you want the easy pill, the one that promises comfort, or do you want the red pill, the one that forces you to grow? Because, in the end, true growth comes from discomfort. The more you endure, the stronger you become, and it's in that strength that you will find the power to achieve everything you've ever wanted. Why do you wake up every morning? What gets you out of bed when the world feels heavy, when the weight of your responsibilities threatens to pull you back into bed? What keeps you going when things get tough, when every step forward feels like you're walking through quicksand? If you don't have a clear reason for your actions, if you don't have a strong why, then every challenge, every obstacle will feel like a burden. It'll be easy to quit when the road gets rough. Without a solid why, you're just drifting, reacting to life instead of living intentionally. The Stoics understood the power of purpose. They knew that to be truly consistent, to endure the hardships of life, you needed to know why you were doing what you were doing. Without that, you're just moving through the motions. You're reacting to every difficulty instead of rising above it. When you're not anchored by purpose, every challenge will seem insurmountable. Every setback will feel like a dead end. But when your why is clear, you can weather any storm. Your purpose becomes your shield, your motivation, and your reason for perseverance. Think about it. What drives you? What's the core reason behind all your actions? When you understand your why, it gives you direction. It fuels you when you don't feel like going on. It gives you the strength to keep pushing when the going gets tough. Whether you're building a career, training for a competition, or pursuing a personal dream, knowing your purpose makes all the difference. It keeps you focused, even in the face of adversity. I've learned this lesson the hard way. There were times when I felt lost, when I was working hard without a clear purpose, and every challenge felt like it was too much to handle. But once I figured out my why, everything changed. My purpose gave me the drive to keep going. Even when I felt like giving up, it was no longer about the obstacles. It was about pushing forward to reach something greater than myself. The clarity of purpose helped me get through the darkest times, and now, when things get tough, I don't ask myself if I can make it. I ask myself why I'm doing it. And that answer always gives me the strength to keep moving. If you want to be truly consistent, if you want to push through the toughest times, you need to find your why. It's not enough to simply want success or achievement. You need to understand the deeper purpose behind your actions. When your purpose is clear, you'll be unstoppable. You won't be swayed by difficulties or discouraged by setbacks. Your why will fuel your drive, and with it, no obstacle will be big enough to stop you. So, take a moment and ask yourself, what's your why? What motivates you to keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets? When you find your purpose, you'll find the strength to overcome anything. And once you do, nothing will stand in your way. Time is your most valuable resource. It's something that none of us can afford to waste. Yet it slips away with every moment you let pass without purpose. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't see time as something to be squandered. They treated it as a precious commodity. Every moment was an opportunity, and they didn't take that for granted. If you truly want to take control of your life, the first step is to take control of your time. Without that, no amount of effort or ambition will lead to the success you're after. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself scrolling through social media, checking your phone, or getting lost in distractions that have nothing to do with your goals? Each of those moments is time lost, moments that you can never get back. The more you let distractions steal your time, the further away you get from the life you want to create. The Stoics didn't allow themselves to be pulled in different directions. They were intentional with their time, using it for things that aligned with their values, their goals, and their purpose. They didn't waste a single second. In my own life, I've seen the impact of time management firsthand. when I started planning my day the night before, when I began grouping similar tasks together and eliminating distractions, everything changed. I stopped feeling overwhelmed by the sheer number of things I had to do. And instead, I felt more in control. I made time for the things that mattered, for the things that would move me closer to my goals. And it wasn't about being busy, it was about being productive. I didn't let others dictate how my time was spent. I managed it, and in doing so, I took control of my future. The truth is, time is life. How you spend your time determines the trajectory of your life. If you allow distractions to steal your time, you'll never get to where you want to be. But if you manage it with purpose, if you learn to control how you spend each moment, you'll find that you have the power to shape your future. The Stoics knew this. They didn't let time slip through their fingers. They used it with intention, with focus, and with a clear understanding of what they wanted to achieve. So, take control of your time. Don't let it slip away unnoticed. Plan your day the night before. Organize your tasks in a way that maximizes your focus, and eliminate the distractions that keep you from your goals. Time is life. When you control how you spend it, you control your future. Don't let another day pass without taking charge of your most valuable resource. Your future depends on it. Imagine waking up every day for the next 100 days with one goal in mind. No excuses. No more procrastinating. No more putting things off. No more letting life's challenges get in the way of what you want to achieve. This is your chance to transform your life, but it won't be easy. These 100 days will test your discipline, your willpower, and your commitment. But here's the catch. It will be worth it. What could you accomplish in 100 days if you committed to taking consistent, small actions every single day? Whether it's writing a book, getting in shape, or pursuing a new career goal, the key to success isn't perfection, it's consistency. Each day, you'll make progress. It might be small at first, barely noticeable, but over time, those small actions will compound, and before you know it, you'll have achieved something incredible. This is the power of 100 days without excuses. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's going to be tough. Life will get in the way. You'll face setbacks, distractions, and days when you don't feel like doing the work. But here's where the magic happens. Success doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from showing up every day. No matter how hard it gets, after 100 days of consistent effort, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. You'll be unrecognizable, not just in the goals you've achieved, but in the person you've become. You'll have transformed your habits, built resilience, and proved to yourself that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought. I can tell you from personal experience, committing to something like this isn't easy. There will be days when you'll want to quit, when you'll question whether it's worth it. But I promise you, when you push through those moments, when you keep going even when it feels impossible, that's when the real transformation happens. You'll grow stronger, more disciplined, and more confident in your ability to take on any challenge. And when you hit that 100-day mark, you'll realize that you didn't just change your routine, you changed your life. So, are you ready for the challenge? Are you ready to commit to 100 days without excuses? This is your opportunity to embrace discipline, consistency, and growth. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to commit to showing up every day. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Let's make these next 100 days the beginning of a new chapter in your life. If you're ready to take on this challenge and transform your life, leave a comment saying, "I choose growth every day." And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Let's continue this journey together and keep growing every single day. The next 100 days could change everything, and your future self will thank you for it. Let's do this.